Take control. Take control of your city.
We're Superfly. We run these streets, we work all night. We're Superfly. We dress so fresh, we look so nice. We're Superfly. Can't help but make these grown men cry. We're Superfly.
Subi.
Breaking news from WCCO News.
Good afternoon. The state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities just sued the Department of Homeland Security over the federal immigration crackdown.
Let's go live now to City Hall.
In the city of St. Paul, under the leadership of Mayor Herr, who is also a dear friend of many years, we've come together and we're here to announce a lawsuit we're filing against the United States Department of Homeland Security to end the unlawful, unprecedented surge of the federal law enforcement agents into Minnesota, because this has to stop. It just has to stop. We allege that the obvious targeting of Minnesota for our diversity, for our democracy, and our differences of opinion with the federal government is a violation of the Constitution and of federal law.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Right away, you can tell Minnesota is suing the federal government, and it's creating an interesting theory, a legal theory. Can a local state, can a state sue the federal government for exercising its constitutionally mandated legal power? Like, it has the authority to do this by its own constitutional mandate. Matters of immigration and immigration enforcement are solely the responsible of the federal government. Do you even have standing? You know, not that I'm a lawyer, not that I'm a keen legal mind, but, you know, I've been to court before. I know there is a process to these things, but anyway.
We allege that the surge's reckless impact on our schools, on our local law enforcement, is a violation of the 10th Amendment and the sovereign laws and powers of the Constitution grants to states. We allege that DHS's use of excessive and lethal force, their warrantless, racist arrests, their targeting of our courts, our churches, houses of worship, and schools are a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act on arbitrary and capricious federal actions. And we ask that the courts will end the surge of thousands of DHS agents into Minnesota. We ask the courts to end the DHS unlawful behavior in our state, the intimidation, the threats, the violence. We ask the courts to end the tactics on our places of worship, our schools, our courts, our marketplaces, our hospitals, and even funeral homes.
The feds are everywhere. They're even deporting the dead. We're in funeral homes deporting dead Somalis. And you know what? This is exactly what my tax money is for. Dig them up, all right? That somebody's grandma could have been in that grave, all right? We are deporting dead Somalis. We're kicking them out of funeral homes now.
Courts, our marketplaces, our hospitals, and even funeral homes. The deployment of thousands of armed mass DHS agents to Minnesota has done our state serious harm. This is, in essence, a federal invasion of the Twin Cities and Minnesota, and it must stop. DHS agents have sown chaos and terror across the metropolitan area.
Can the United States invade itself? Again, you know, I'm having all kind of intellectual problems here, just, you know, conceptual realities, you know, the things going on I just can't quite understand. Is it possible for the United States to invade itself?
And in cities across the state of Minnesota, schools have gone onto lockdown. Entire districts have had to cancel school for tens of thousands of students to ensure safety and offer online education because of the students and the parents' fear of coming into the school. Local businesses are struggling. Revenues are down. And some retail stores, daycares, and restaurants have actually closed because people are afraid to go out and to do their shopping, whether they're immigrants or whether they are citizens of many generations. This surge has made us less safe Thousands of poorly trained, aggressive, and armed agents of the state, of the federal government have rolled into our communities, overwhelmed our local police departments, and law enforcement agencies should be focused on our public safety, but instead,
Did we overwhelm their police department? Is that what he said? Niggas in there deep. There's more feds than police right now. That's good. That's exactly what you need because Minnesota is corrupt.
the federal government have rolled into our communities, overwhelmed our local police departments, and law enforcement agencies should be focused on our public safety, but instead, many are dealing with the aftermath of DHS agents, chaos, and violence. I want to thank our law enforcement officers for doing a tremendous job under very difficult circumstances. Not the people, but the federal government. Minneapolis police have had to respond to more than 20 ICE-related incidents, like witnesses seeking people being pulled into unmarked vehicles by men en masse, or ICE abandoning vehicles on the street with people detained inside. This is an unlawful commandeering of police resources. In just 2 days, responding to the chaos ICE has cost the city $2 billion in law enforcement and overtime expenses. 2 days.
I mean, even if it does go to court, couldn't you argue that by refusing to coordinate with the federal government, the local government has actually brought this upon itself? Like, of course we're going to leave chaos in our wake. You're not even helping us to control the thing. So I don't even know if that's a good way to go, but you know, have at it, Hoss.
And I wish I could stop there, but I can't, because these poorly trained, aggressive, and armed agents of the federal state have terrorized Minnesota with widespread unlawful conduct. They're making unconstitutional arrests and using excessive force. DHS agents have barged into restaurants asking to access secure areas. And when asked to present a warrant, which is required by law, they respond, "We don't need one." DHS agents have arrested peaceful bystanders. They have fired chemical irritants at people obeying lawful orders while exercising their First Amendment rights. They have even done so at some of our most sensitive places, like Roosevelt High School here in Minneapolis. They have detained law-abiding citizens, leaving them handcuffed for hours just because of the color of their skin or what they're wearing, or they speak English with an accent. And on January 7th, 2026, a DHS agent shot and killed Renee Nicole Good.
You know, it's interesting how the immigration issue is going to be like the last hurrah of the racial wave. Like the whole racial conversation is dying out. And because, you know, all the immigrants get to claim black and brown as well, they're totally diluting the racial argument. When it was just black and white, it was simple. It was us and them. You guys are mean to us. You owe us money. It was a real simple game we got. Now everybody else got their hands in the pot. It looks weird. It looks weird.
Leaving her children without a mother and her 6-year-old son without either parent. This has to stop. So let's be clear. It never should have started. These agents have no good reason to be here. Minnesota's non-citizen immigrant population is just 1.5%, which is half the national average. Our state's percentage is lower than Utah, Texas, and Florida's, but none of those states have thousands of federal agents swarming their streets or harming their people. The administration says that they're focused on finding criminals. Worst of the worst, they say. But many of the people the DHS is arresting in Minnesota have no criminal history. That fits a pattern. In 2025, 93% of the people arrested by ICE had no violent criminal history. 65% had no criminal convictions at all, and randomly stopping people in the street because their skin color isn't the one that they expect or want isn't doing a thing to help public safety.
You know, the thing about that whole random stopping argument, the overwhelming vast majority of what they're doing is targeted. Like they're going at particular people in particular places. They're going in particular homes and restaurants because they know who exactly they're after. Now, if you just so happen to poke your head up and you don't have your papers in order, that's a different situation.
I've heard the administration talk about fraud. No, not the 43 fraud convictions the president has or the $43 million fraudsters the president has pardoned, but instead saying that ICE is here to look for fraud somehow. You know, we work with federal government all the time, and if the federal government wants to help us with forensic accountants, we're open to that conversation. But these ICE agents who are engaged in the behavior that they're engaged in are not helping public safety at all.
After all of the money that's been taken out of Minnesota, after all of the cases that have been thrown out, like right before this whole thing blew up, there was a case where like maybe 4, I think Somalis actually got convicted of fraud, right? It had nothing to do with the Nick Shirley thing, nothing to do with like those 100 people that got indicted for fraud, and it was like 90 of them were Somali out of the 100. No, a completely different case. It was like 2 couples, a husband and a wife, and another husband and a wife. They all got arrested for some type of, I think, medical fraud, and the judge dismissed the case. A female, a white lady, you know, shout out to the white liberal women, she dismissed the case. Can we even trust Minnesota to properly conduct an investigation and handle so-called justice? Can you even trust these people at this point? I mean, it's ironic that I asked the question earlier, can a country invade itself? But we might have to unironically invade Minnesota. These niggas are thoroughly corrupt. They're surrounded by an army of immigrants and white women, and they're not going to give up without a fight.
Immigration enforcement agents aren't trained to investigate fraud, and randomly stopping people in the street because you don't like their accent isn't going to stop fraud. So enforcing federal immigration law and fighting fraud are just pretexts for this surge. The real reason, it's no secret. Donald Trump and his administration have been targeting people, cities, and states that don't agree with them politically. He singled out Minnesota countless times. He's called us corrupt and crooked. He's attacked our funding to the tune of billions of dollars, which we are challenging. And we fought back, of course. He's attacked programs that Minnesotans rely on and tried to shut them down and pay taxes for. And he's attacked Minnesotans with despicable, racist, xenophobic language. The truth is, Donald Trump doesn't seem to like our state very much.
I don't know what racist, xenophobic language Donald Trump ever used, but if he did, I'll forgive him.
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
But what's that about? He doesn't like our best in the nation, safe and secure elections. And sometimes he doesn't like who we choose in them. Just last week, Trump claimed that he won Minnesota 3 times. When in fact, he's never won Minnesota. He doesn't like how we take care of each other or how we make sure our kids have enough to eat. He doesn't like the strength that immigrant communities bring to our state. And he doesn't seem to like that we protect our neighbors no matter where they were born. In short, the Trump administration's decision to target Minnesota and Twin Cities is motivated by a desire to retaliate against Trump's perceived political opponents.
You know, in a weird way, this reads as like a very feminine list of complaints. You don't like me because of my thick lips. You don't like me because of my long hair. You don't like me because of my beauty. You don't like me because all the boys love me and not you. This sounds like a very, very feminine list of complaints here.
Who are the people of the state of Minnesota and Twin Cities, rather than any good faith concerns about immigration enforcement, public safety, or law enforcement. In conclusion, I didn't have the pleasure and the benefit of knowing Renee Nicole Good, but her friends and family knew her as someone who was kind, someone who loved her family deeply, and someone willing to stand up for her neighbors. That sounds like the Minnesota that I know. The administration wants to paint false political narratives about us, but we know who we are and we know our rights. The Constitution gives Minnesota the sovereign authority to protect health and well-being of every single person who lives on our borders. The Constitution gives us the right to vote for who we want, pray however we want, and be whoever we want without fear of being racially profiled, assaulted, or killed in our own communities. We're going to defend those rights because as much as they like to believe it, DHS is not above the law, and the people of Minnesota are certainly not beneath it. Let me now bring forward my mayor, the mayor where I go home at night and is doing a wonderful job protecting our city, Mayor Jacob Fry.
You know, for a minute, it sounded like you go home to Mayor Fry at night. Is this the mayor you go home to at night?
Mayor, the mayor where I go home at night and is doing a wonderful job protecting our city.
Does he protect you at night personally? That was really, really weird. That was really, really cringe. What do you mean the mayor that where you go home to at night? That nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay.
Mayor Jacob Fry.
Thank you, Attorney General Ellison, for your leadership and your incredible team's work around this issue. Thank you to Mayor Herr of St. Paul for your partnership.
Her name is Herr? Her name is Herr? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What are we even doing? We used to be a proper country. Her name is Herr. Her name is Herr.
Nigga, please.
Serious.
And your incredible team's work around this issue. Thank you to Mayor Herr of St. Paul for your partnership. These are not normal times. And so the response that we are asking for from the judicial system and from the courts requires that we file suit at this particular moment. What we are seeing right now is not normal immigration enforcement. We are not asking ICE not to do ICE things. We are asking this federal government to stop the unconstitutional conduct that is invading our streets each and every day. You've seen the videos.
Those are ICE
At times,
things, bro.
there are as many as 50.
Those are literally ICE things. Everything on the video, those are literally ICE things, bro. And the thing about Minnesota, they're literally in the ICE doing ICE things. I don't understand why you're upset. They are in the ICE doing ICE things. This is like a double win.
Agents arresting one person. The scale is wildly disproportionate and has nothing to do with keeping people safe. In Minneapolis, we've done work extensively with the federal government under multiple administrations to keep people in our city safe. We have worked with the DEA, the ATF, the FBI, the Attorney General's office, as well as the U.S. Attorney's office to successfully drive down crime in our city. We've seen the results of that work, but let's be clear. The stated reason of this federal government for bringing in this full invasion of ICE and border control is not safety. If it were safety, there would be other mechanisms to achieve safety. By the way, crime is down in virtually every category, in virtually every neighborhood of this city. If this were about fraud, then you'd see an invasion perhaps of accountants, but that's not what you see. What you see is people being indiscriminately taken off our streets. Discrimination only takes place to the extent that a determination has made that somebody is Somali or is Latino, or at least they look that way, and then there is virtually no discrimination thereafter. Here's the thing. You can't indiscriminately take people off our streets, American citizens off our streets. You cannot drag pregnant women through the snow. You're not allowed to take
We did that.
teenagers out of their car
Did we drag a pregnant chick in the snow? Anybody got the video of that? I didn't know about that.
and detain them when they are, in fact, American citizens. That is against the law in every state. That is against our United States Constitution. And we're feeling the impact here in Minneapolis. Schools have closed. People are afraid to go to work, shop, or seek medical care. 911 calls are up. Police resources are indeed stretched thin. We have approximately 600 officers in the city of Minneapolis. Mayor Herr has approximately 600 officers in the city of St. Paul. The number of ICE agents and Border Control are now in the thousands. They are in the thousands. If the goal was immigration enforcement, if the goal were simply to look for people that are undocumented, Minneapolis and St. Paul would not be the place where you would go.
We got more ICE than real police. We could actually make Minnesota great again. We have more federal agents than real police. Minnesota is almost ready to be great again, y'all. We are this close to being great again. Shout out to Little Rock with the 199.
Take control. Take control of your city.
There are countless more people that are undocumented in Florida and Texas and Utah. Why are they in these much smaller cities in the middle of the Midwest? The answer is very clear. It is politics. Florida and Texas and Utah are Republican states. The reason that Minnesota and Minneapolis are being targeted is because you've got a Democratic governor, a Democratic attorney general, and you got Democratic mayors.
The reason why you have all of these illegal immigrants in your country, in your state, is also politics, because they're voters and they're a tax base, and you can actually siphon money off of their gigantic billion-dollar fraud schemes.
We are doing everything possible to keep our cities safe through this unprecedented time. And at the same time, we have police officers that are tired. We've seen damage substantially because we're now having to pay a ton of overtime, millions of dollars of emergency overtime for law enforcement. Emergency operations have been activated across our city and state agencies.
Trump is like fighting a war of attrition against his political opponents, too. All of the little cuts to different funding programs, taking away USAID. He just took almost all of the federal money away from Minnesota. Like, I don't even think they have food stamps right now. It's cold and they don't even have food stamps right now. Not to mention all the other programs like the daycare stuff that they took away. He really is fighting a war of attrition. You gotta love it.
Pulling focus on daily core services that we, by the way, are tasked with providing. Local police officers are being diverted from the very work that we need to be doing, and small businesses are losing significant revenue, with some worried that they may not survive this at all. People are scared to take their kids into school or daycare, to go into work. They're going to have difficulty paying rent. There is no doubt in my mind
They weren't going to daycare. That's why we're here in the first place. That is really ironic. There was nobody in the daycare to begin with. If you actually had kids in your daycare centers to begin with, none of this would have ever happened. That is the ironic thing. For him to say that is really, really like total lack of self-awareness, bro. These people are shameless, actually.
The federal government is taking is not just mean-spirited. It's unconstitutional, and every one of us need to be standing up. Let me give you another example. Just last week, a group of our city's public works employees were stopped by ICE agents. 3 of the 4 employees were not white. The ICE agents asked to see the IDs of the 3 non-white employees and didn't even bother to ask the white employee for the identification.
Based and red-pilled.
Minneapolis is being treated targeted because we stand up for our neighbors and we welcome immigrants because we believe in the law. And as I said, frankly, because we are in a blue city in a blue state. Donald Trump should know, as long as federal agents are in our city acting unconstitutionally against our neighbors, we will continue to push back with everything we got. And let me just take a moment to say how grateful I am to the residents of our city and of our state. We are not victims in the city of Minneapolis. We've got heroes that are standing up for each other, that are standing by the neighbors that they love. And one thing that I can tell you for certain is that we aren't backing down. We don't retreat in Minneapolis. We don't back down in Minnesota. We stand up against bullies. And right now, what we are asking for is an intervention from the court to push back on this unconstitutional conduct, pure and simple. I'll now turn it off to Mayor Herr.
She's her.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm proud to stand with Mayor Frey and Attorney General Ellison to fight for our residents. This federal occupation of our cities needs to end immediately. Federal law enforcement is racially profiling our residents, creating mass chaos, and undermining the relationship between local government and our communities. We will not stand idly by and watch this happen. With this collective action, we are taking a firm stance to tell federal law enforcement that this cannot happen in our country. It cannot happen in our state, and it cannot happen in St. Paul. Federal law enforcement is going far beyond what they can and should be doing to enforce immigration laws. They are endangering our community's safety, straining our resources, and sowing distrust. While we know we can't control federal agents, we will pull every lever we have to fight back in every way that we can. They've come into St. Paul and needlessly invaded our neighborhoods and homes.
I'm sorry, this whole thing feels like a kink novel. Oh, my heart was frozen by ICE agents. This whole thing reads like a kink novel. I know we can't stop the federal agents, and they just held me down as they entered all of my towns and all of my chapels and my schools, all of my sacred places, and I was powerless to do anything. And all I could do was scream and beg for help, and no one came to stop the ICE agents from doing what they wanted to me. This is very much like a political kink theater act. This is really cringe, but kinky and weird at the same time. Her little ugly ass is getting off on this shit.
Trust. While we know we can't control federal agents, we will pull every lever we have to fight back in every way that we can. They've come into St. Paul and needlessly invaded our neighborhoods and homes. They're targeting us based on what we look and sound like. Our residents are scared, and as local officials, we have a responsibility to act. I want to thank Attorney General Ellison and Mayor Frey for taking a united stance for the people of Minnesota. And to our immigrant and refugee communities, let me be clear. You are a vital part of our city. You are loved, and you are wanted, and you are important to the fabric of our state. As a refugee who came to this country, this is the state that welcomed my grandparents here in the late 70s, allowed our family to break the cycle of poverty in one generation, educated us, allowed us to build wealth, and within one generation have a new family members that are
You know, it's ironic. She's probably like, I hear there's a lot of Hmong people in Minnesota, which is like a South Asian group, you know, like Vietnamese or something. And apparently the Hmong are like the model minorities. Why don't you have a Somali up there? Where are the Somali Minnesotans right now? Why are you hiding all the Somalis? You're up here talking about all this racism, but you're hiding the Somalis. Don't talk to me about racism when you're playing hide the Somali. trying to pass off one of your model minorities up here. No. Put the Somalis on stage, man. Come on.
Educated and a part of this economy and this workforce, that we need to continue to make sure that our state stays that, and that can't happen if ICE continues to run amok of our city and our state. And so we cannot let this federal administration divide us. We need to come together now more than ever. Thank you.
Great job. So now we have a few minutes for questions. I want to acknowledge.
It just occurred to me too. They are literally hiding the Somalis. You don't have one Somali in all of your state government. Like, I know you do. I know you have to have one or two Somalis in your state government that could have come out and been a part of this little show of force, because it's all about them, right? You're doing it for them. But they are literally hiding the Somalis, though. Now I just got it. Like, oh shit.
The vital presence of President Elliot Payne of our Minneapolis City Council here on behalf of all of the council members, I think, in the council, representing the council. Thank you for your presence here, sir. And I also want to say thank you to all of our staff members who've worked so hard to prepare us for this moment. They all are very, very critical to the work that we do every day, and we're grateful to them as well. And they may help us answering some of your questions. We have about 15 minutes for questions. And so I'll select the first person who I see. Tom?
Attorney General Ellison, there's been some success in getting the National Guard out of some states with lawsuits like this. But that was over a question of what the role of the National Guard is. It's pretty clear what ICE's role is. Is that going to make this legal challenge more difficult?
I don't think so, because ICE, as I think the Mayor Fry said very well, ICE has a statutory responsibility to do a certain job. Where our argument is they are exceeding that dramatically in unconstitutional, unlawful ways, violating our First and 10th Amendment rights, our equal sovereignty principle, and provisions of the Administrative Procedures Act. They have to obey the law themselves as they carry forth their statutory duties. We argue they're not doing that. They have to operate within the law and the Constitution.
You know the interesting thing about making it a racial argument? Almost by definition, by practice, all of the immigration that the Democrats have encouraged over the last 70 years really has been explicitly non-white, right? And so when you start to tackle the immigration issue, it is therefore an almost explicitly non-white issue. How do you tackle the immigration issue without tackling a bunch of non-white communities? I mean, there's probably a bunch of Russians we can kick out, but after that, then what?
Yes, sir.
Hey, A.G. Ellison, A.C. Thompson from PBS Frontline.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Is this litigation aimed at restraining the use of crowd control weapons, less lethal weapons? Our whole crew got pepper sprayed today by federal agents. Are you aiming to do anything about that?
Well, one thing I'd like to ask you to do is to make a complaint and make sure people know what happened to you and your crew. Part of what our case is about is First Amendment protection. We believe that the federal government is persecuting the state of Minnesota because of our political views. And that goes, and look, the First Amendment, the press is protected by the First Amendment, and is vitally important in this moment when freedom of the press and every First Amendment right is under a threat by the federal government. So I'm going to ask you to let us know what happened. But yeah, we're trying to restore lawful conduct and make sure that the federal government operates within the boundaries of the law, which they're required to do. Yes, sir.
Obviously, really ramped up in the last week.
Right.
What kind of timeline can we expect on this suit? What are you looking at with your office?
Well, we filed a lawsuit already. It's on file right now.
As far as results.
Well, it's hard to predict exactly what the court schedule will be, but we are anticipating quick action. I don't know, would any of my team members want to, Brian, you want to respond to that?
Brian Carter, Special Counsel to the Attorney General. I don't know if we filed quite yet, but we do have a motion for a temporary.
You haven't even filed the paperwork yet? You see why we call all you guys DEI people? Even the big white dude, he's a big white DEI guy. He's just there for visual purposes, you know, just so we look inclusive. Look, we even got two of them. There's one in the front and one in the back. Two DEI white guys.
A restraining order that's going to be filed today. We're going to ask that the court hear that motion tomorrow morning. There's another similar motion in a separate but related lawsuit that's scheduled for that time. We're going to try and piggyback on that, and we're going to be asking for immediate relief.
Brian Carter, everybody. Way in the back.
St. Paul have any specifics on overtime for police officers in the way that Minneapolis has some stats?
Yeah, and we do know that we have had we've had to open our command center in order to monitor the city. We've had to have all of our officers in uniform, so that we do have information as well. And we'll be sharing more of that information in the days to come as it relates to this lawsuit.
Are those overtime costs likely to reach into the millions if this
Yeah.
continues?
Yeah. Question is, are those overtime costs for Minneapolis police and St. Paul police likely to reach into the millions? The answer is absolutely. We have normal core functions that we are tasked with doing on a daily basis.
All of a sudden now you're worried about the money. That is really ironic. All of a sudden you're worried about where the money's going to come from.
We are required to respond to 911 calls. We are trying to prevent murders from happening and carjackings from taking place. And by the way, the work of our police has been driving down those numbers.
So there you heard Attorney General Keith Ellison along with Mayor Fry and Mayor Hur from St. Paul, Minneapolis, telling us that they're going on behalf of the state of Minnesota and the cities are filing a federal lawsuit against the DHS and related agencies and officials, asking the court to end the unprecedented surge of DHS agents into the state and declare it unconstitutional and unlawful.
You first. As somebody who's been reporting here for a long time, people are scared to death about what's going on the streets of Minneapolis, and they're scared that they might get hurt, their loved ones might get hurt, maybe their cleaning lady gets deported. What do you say to those people who are genuinely worried?
Sure. Well, those individuals that are worried, if they're United States citizens or legal permanent residents or have some type of legal status to be or remain here in the United States, there's no reason to be scared. However, if they are a criminal alien or an illegal alien, then they should probably be very scared, because we are here conducting a Title VIII immigration mission. So to those that are scared and they're looking for a solution or an answer to this, those illegal aliens, there is one. It's called the CBP Home app. And with thousands of law enforcement officers, ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, Border Patrol, CBP on the ground here, I would highly ask them to utilize that CBP Home app so that they can get in line and do it the right way. Many of these legal residents come up to us and say, wow, I spent many years doing it the right way. Why is this individual not doing it the right way? That's all we're asking, and we're giving them a fantastic opportunity to do that.
I have to ask you about the Renee Good shooting, and I think what's created so much attention is that there are all these multiple videos. You obviously have seen the videos, as have all your people. Do you feel this was a justified shooting by the ICE agent?
I feel that that ICE agent was in a very difficult, untenable situation, and he did what he had to do to ensure that his life was saved. But let's take that a step farther. The lives of others were saved, whether that was members of the public and or other law enforcement officers. We have to remember that those situations are not, it's 360 degrees, like I always say. That's a 360-degree situation, crowds forming, known violence, a lot of things happening there that individual police officer or ICE agent has to make in a very difficult environment. So when they make those decisions, they didn't put themselves in that situation knowing that was going to happen. They had no clue that was going to happen. And I think for the viewers and members of the public, that agent had no clue that was going to happen, but he was put into that violent situation and reacted when a 4,000-pound missile came right at him.
meaning the minivan.
Yes.
Let me ask you, I interviewed the police chief yesterday who was very critical of the agent who did the shooting for having a cell phone and videotaping as he was working the actual case. Is that common for ICE agents to videotape as they are working?
Well, absolutely. Videotaping is very important, as you know, prosecutions, or when you have an individual that is not adhering to commands, definitely you want that on video, because that video tells a story. You know, it's very interesting. The chief says that he doesn't approve of that, but yet whenever we don't have a video, some of these same individuals say, well, gosh, there's not a video of it, must not have happened. So let's don't put these agents, these police officers, in a catch-22. I'm glad that they had a video. They're doing the very best they can. Armchair quarterbacking a police officer on the street in a deadly situation like that, that's not something I'm going to do.
Why aren't they wearing body cameras? Because if that agent had a body camera, we could really see it from his perspective, what he saw. And a lot of times body camera video is used to prove that the police acted properly.
Sure. Body cameras, and I'm not going to speak for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. I am a Border Patrol agent, as you can see the Border Patrol patch here. But body cameras are in use, and there's differing rules and regulations for that. I'm not going to second guess what or why that agent did or didn't have a body camera on, but different missions. Perhaps he was undercover. If you're undercover and you've got a body camera sticking right out, you're not undercover anymore. So we need to let the facts of that case come about. But if he was videotaping, then good on him.
You actually tried to stop at a Target, I think, to use the restroom or get a drink, and there was kind of quite a scene there. Is that this kind of scene being replicated with your agents all over this area?
In Minneapolis, it is. Unfortunately, in Minneapolis, I call this a contrast in operations, a vast, conspicuous contrast in operations. Just got back from Louisiana. I went to Targets, and I went to many places to use the bathroom or perhaps buy a snack or interact with the public, because I am a public official. I do like to interact with the public. In Louisiana, never saw it. In fact, one act of violence towards a Border Patrol agent in over 30 days of operations there in Louisiana. Contrast that here to Minneapolis, completely different animal. A lot of unfriendly individuals out there, a lot of violence against ICE and Border Patrol. As a matter of fact, we've been here approximately 4 days, and well over 20 18 U.S.C. 111 assaults on federal officers over those past 4 days. So 1 in 30 days in Louisiana, well over 20, probably approaching 30 by the end of today, because we've already had vehicle rammings and that type of thing today on the ground here in Minneapolis. So definitely it's a lot different here. We did see this in Chicago, Los Angeles, somewhat in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You know, apparently, depending on where you go, some states just want to fight back. Which actually brings me to Chicago. Give me a second here to fix something real quick.
Today, the Illinois Attorney General, with the cooperation of our office and the City of Chicago, filed a lawsuit in federal court against DHS, Secretary Kristi Noem, and other defendants. The lawsuit argues that ICE and CBP agents engaged in unlawful activities, including swapping or altering license plates to conceal their identities. Illinois will not stand for federal agents disregarding our laws and compromising public safety. We have a fundamental responsibility to protect our residents, to uphold the law, and to hold people accountable for their illegal actions. Through our Plate Watch hotline, we've received hundreds of tips and uncovered repeated violations of Illinois state law. This became one of the bases for the lawsuit. Tampering with license plates is illegal It's dangerous and it will not be tolerated. Illinois law strictly prohibits masking, swapping, or altering license plates because these actions undermine public safety. We will continue to fight for accountability and the safety of everyone on Illinois roads.
So we have now 2 states and probably more to come, but at least 2 states are now launching federal lawsuits against the government so they can stop or impede some of these ICE actions out here. Now, I want to take a look at some of the things happening a little bit closer to the ground. You know, ICE is everywhere. People are doing what they can to fight back, but, you know, can't ban the snowman. Let me see. What do we have here? Why are these things not loaded up? Oh, here we go. Here we go.
To the back. Oh, they're sneaking to the people's property. They snuck to the back door and came in the store. They're sneaking in.
They're going to come here. They're going to open your store and break it. Come out. If you have him, just get him.
They're sneaking in. Oh, no. They try to grab the lady from behind the desk. She worked here, and they snuck in the back door and pushed me.
I don't think they're sneaking in. They might be barging in. They might be bursting in. Hell, they might even be breaking in, but I don't think they're sneaking in.
Oh my God. They pushed.
So just give him to us, and we're gonna leave. That's it. Let me back the bill. Okay. Give us everybody's that criminal record. Then I will release you. Google it. I don't know. It's called. I don't know what he's talking about. You guys just came in. I don't even know.
They sneak in the people door. They push me, and they try to get somebody, and they thought it was me. Yeah, it's a lady, I guess, because we're the same size.
Yeah. With the warrant, a special warrant is on the way. I don't know. I'm explaining. I'm already those people. And you guys can just come in for no. We want to leave. We want to leave. Okay.
They're running up in all the restaurants now.
ICE just came in and took the entire staff of the Elk River Hong Kong buffet. They came in and they took everyone without checking for papers. They just abducted them. Husband left to go get takeout, and the Hong Kong buffet is one of his favorite restaurants. Comfort food, something to feel better about what's going on right now in the world. But you can't escape it. You can't hide from it. It's in my backyard now. If you don't know where Elk River is, we're about 30 miles north of Minneapolis. It's not really the metro anymore. We call anything that is a suburb of Minneapolis the cities, like Brooklyn Park, Golden Valley, Minnetonka. It's one thing to watch it from behind a screen. It's a spectacle. You're helpless. We can't interact. But it's another thing when it's right in front of you. And you have the choice to do something, to say something, even if it means you might lose everything.
January 20th, 2026. Mark the date.
Is that Martin Luther King birthday? January 20th. I feel like that day is significant for some reason. I'm bad about my holidays. Well, what day is that?
January 20th, 2026. Mark the date. Every part of that date is intentional. the 1-year anniversary of Donald Trump's inauguration, and it's the day people across the country are organizing a coordinated response. At 2 p.m. local time, your time, wherever you live, you walk out. Work, school, home, it doesn't matter. Wherever you are when the clock hits 2. This isn't about where you are. It's about showing up together. Not chaos, visibility. Then from 3 to 5 p.m. local time, people walk into their local congressional offices. Calm, peaceful, on the record, demanding impeachment and removal. And if you're asking, where do I go? The website on your screen tells you. Go to removetheregime.com, and they will tell you exactly where you can find your local congressional offices and everything you need to participate. And here's how this reaches everyone. Film it, post it on your social media. And if you can't be there in person, repost everything you see that day. On January 20th, we flood social media. Videos from every city, every state, people in the streets, people showing up. That's how everybody participates. That's how pressure works. If you're in office and you're not doing enough, voters are taking notes. Because accountability doesn't stop at impeachment. It continues with primaries. January 20th is the message. Walk out, walk in, film it, repost it, and make it impossible to ignore.
It'd be really funny if we can get a bunch of people fired on January 20th at the same time. What if January 20th turns into a mass liberal firing? Wonderful things could happen in 2026. We're off to a great start, you guys.
It might be a little dangerous. Thank you. Thank you. A little bit more. You know, again, to bring it back to that whole sexual fantasy angle, they are blowing their grape whistle, you know? They are blowing the grape whistle because what is happening psychologically, they are being assaulted, you know? They are being held down and penetrated against their will. Trump and his big, strong federal government has penetrated Minnesota against their will, and all they can do is blow their whistle, bang on pots and pans, and yell for help. And then they're going to blog about it and write it down in their journal later and then claim that they were really, really victims. But at the same time, they really enjoy it. This is one of the best days of their lives, ironically. Violating human rights. Tell me what right you have in this state. All right, I know you about had enough of that anyway. Let me share something a little bit more funny. Actually, no, it's not funny. This is fake. That's fake. I was just about to share that with you, but I realized it was actually fake. But there's something else I want to talk about real quick too. Where'd that video go? We have to talk about the liberal white women for a minute.
So fucking radicalized at this point that they can't even see. One of the biggest threats in America right now is the white liberal American woman. They are so fucking radicalized at this point that they can't even see that they're no longer fighting for Americans. They're willing to ride or die for fucking illegal criminals that have come into this country. It is absolutely absurd. And it's dangerous because these women also have kids and they're pushing these radicalized fucking crazy ideology onto their children. And until we start fixing the problem with white American liberal women, shit is not going to change in this country. We're witnessing firsthand what happens when liberal women are radicalized in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You're literally seeing firsthand what happens. And until we can get through to those fucking women and make them realize, like, hey, you should be ride or die for American citizens because you're a fucking American. Period. What the fuck are you doing? Liberals need to get their heads out of their ass. Get their shit together. Because it's America first, motherfuckers.
I'm gonna assume you just went through something tragic and you had to shave your head, but yeah, kind of rough up there. But what is happening with liberal white women? And you know, the irony of the whole liberal white woman thing is that they're doing it all on behalf of the non-white people, and black women in particular are just eating this up right now. Black women are really, really enjoying this moment of white women prostrating themselves to death, literally to death, because it's literally what they asked for. They said, listen, white women, I can't keep dying for myself. I need you to die for me now. And the white women were like, okay.
This woman was part of a group of people who they trained to try to be ICE interrupters. And what they try to do is observe what ICE is doing, film them, and try to use their white privilege. To be honest, they're mainly white people,
which is what we ask.
Which is what we ask them to do, right? Because black people, like, we can't put our bodies on the line because cops will shoot us. And so the presumption had been, particularly a white woman, because remember, part of the rationale for doing this with ICE is to save white women, pristine white women, from being ravaged by, criminal brown men. So what
does it do for your movement if the government is willing to shoot black people and white women? Just think about it. What do you do against the government that's actually going to shoot niggas and white women?
Somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please.
Part of the rationale for doing this with ICE is to save white women, pristine white women, from being ravaged by, criminal brown men. So white women have been taking the lead in being the ones to step forward. This woman was part of a group of people who they.
So yeah, white women, they have to take the lead and step forward because the black people can't do it. The brown people can't do it. The immigrants can't do it. It's all up to you, white women. And then meanwhile, you know, your allies are the weird cucked men.
You're basically asking, can our cops arrest them?
Yeah.
From a legal perspective, yes. From a practical perspective, to state the reality, yeah, it does get kind of hard when they drastically outnumber us and they have bigger guns than we.
Think about what Jacob Frey is telling whatever this guy's name is, right? He is asking Jacob Frey, can you theoretically or practically, can you arrest a federal agent for let's say they commit a crime, like they shot that lady, and you want to now go arrest that guy for shooting that lady? Can you actually carry out the arrest?
You're basically asking, can our cops arrest them?
Yeah.
From a legal perspective, yes. From a practical perspective, to state the reality, yeah, it does get kind of hard when they drastically outnumber us and they have bigger guns than we do. It does. And here's the thing. We don't want to create warfare in the street. We want to keep our communities safe. We're trying our very best to do that. So nobody, our police officers, ICE agents, civilians, nobody can act illegally. Nobody can. And so we're trying to find the best way to prevent these ICE agents.
Carmen, you say Fry has little gun energy? No. No, I'm weak. This is why you got to send in a guy like Trump. Because you can't just take over. You can't run shit with little gun energy.
Take control. Take control of your city.
What are you really going to do with little gun energy? All right, that shit is bullshit. Speaking of little guns.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all I would do. Give me the money.
Shout out to Dick Doug with the foul ball. He says, I'm getting tired of this fake compassion. We see how people interact each day. They will get someone fired for forgetting to add cheese on their burger. Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? Karen is one of the worst people at that. That's why she got her reputation. Don't forget to put her Gruyere cheese on her goddamn croissant properly, or you're going to get fired. She doesn't want to talk to the maitre d' and somebody's getting fired. That's the way it is. But, you know, one cop shoots a crazy lady running a car at him and everybody acts like you forgot how it works in the real world.
From acting illegally while not causing a firestorm on the street. Am I saying it won't happen? No, I'm not saying it won't happen. What I'm saying is, like, you know, I am in charge of keeping the peace and directing our police officers, and I got to keep everybody safe. And so I can't commit to anything.
It's crazy that you're even there, right? I can't commit one way or another to deal with how, how our law enforcement officials should deal with rogue federal law enforcement. And it's like, these are the guys that are the don't tread on me guys. And they have federal agents coming into your city, menacing your citizens who aren't doing anything illegally. And you've got to have separation of powers discussions in the mayor's office. It's crazy.
The bottom line is we are working on every strategy that is available to protect our residents. And where illegality is taking place, where people are being mistreated and hurt, our officers are going to be there to help the best they can to keep people safe. Now, what that action looks like obviously depends on the situation. Again, the goal that they're trying to get to is they got to keep people safe. Anybody can get arrested. Anybody.
Jacob Fry literally just said anybody could get it. He really think he gang. But he just said we outnumbered and we outgunned, and I don't know if I'm actually give it to anybody. You can't trust this nigga. You can't trust this nigga. These niggas is flexible.
He too flexible to run shit. You can't trust these flexible niggas. Look, I've been telling y'all about these flexible, bendy, stretchy ass niggas, man.
Want to be masculine showing, but bend over bandits.
This is a sheriff in Philadelphia who had a message about your agency on Thursday. Watch.
We are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you're getting arrested. And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made up fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. If them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. You don't want this smoke, because we will bring it.
Those were on the record comments from that law enforcement official, whose bio, by the way, is very heavy on DEI, the bio that she put out for herself. What is your response to those remarks?
Well, first off, Guy, anytime you pit law enforcement officers against law enforcement officers, it makes nobody safe. This is the exact type of political rhetoric that I've been saying ever since I had the opportunity to be the ICE director, that this increased rhetoric is what's causing the issues right now. You can't pit a local law enforcement officer against a federal law enforcement officer. We are out there trying to do a lawful law enforcement mission, and this rhetoric right here is pure example of what we're facing every day. And, I'm not one for like big, banter or bluster, but my message to the sheriff is try it. Try arrest my folks.
So you got people in the state saying anybody could get it, and you got the feds saying, all right, bring it. Oh, get in the car, boys. We're about to have a civil war.
Okay, I'm on.
Back up. Let's see if this is back up. Fuck you. Back up. Fuck you. What'd you eat for breakfast? Couldn't have been bacon, right? That'd be cannibals. Back up. Back up. I'm a safe distance. Do you feel safe? You need a new job, motherfucker. Got anything on you? You want me? Ma'am, are you good? Can you breathe? It's always no reason, dumbass. Get up. Get up, dummy. Get up. Back up. Back up. I'm moving. Back up. Hey, get back. I was moving, motherfucker. What's wrong with you? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? I got a big time. Stand up. I'll give you your glasses. Stand up. Stand the fuck up. Get up. Stop being recorded, brother. Stand up. Hey, you got a car coming. Proud of what you're here to do? Are you proud of what you're doing? Back up. Tell me you're proud of what you're doing. You gonna stand up now? Are you proud of what you're doing? Stand up. Any of you can answer that fucking question. Are you proud of what you're doing? 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 Any of you? No. You proud of what you're doing? Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Right in your mouth. Back up! Don't be a flag. Why do you wear that flag? You read the fucking Constitution? Are you proud of what you're doing? You think You're that bogus ass motherfucker.
Hey, chill the fuck out, bitch. Chill the fuck out. You ain't gonna do nothing. Chill the fuck out. Don't. Hey, bájale. Bájale. fucking touching me. A ver, enseña la cara, perro. Enseña la cara. ¿Y eso qué? ¿Y eso qué? ¿Y eso qué? Bájale. It's a fucking woman. Grow some fucking balls. Ay, bájate la máscara, culero. Bájate la máscara. Bájate la máscara. You know exactly what the fuck I'm telling you. ¿Y eso qué? ¿Y eso qué? ¿Y eso qué? Look at the way you fucking have it. All right, we'll calm the situation down. They're fucking men. They're fucking grown-ass men, fucking men handling her. Let me fucking grab you like that, bitch. She ain't a fucking dog.
They have rights.
I don't give a fuck.
They have rights. So fucking what, man?
Don't touch me. Get these people out of my fucking way then.
Get out! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame! Shame! Shame!
The Resistance Orchestra came to town this weekend to make some noise. They targeted ICE hotels, broke windows, and stormed the lobby. They even chased down Border Patrol Chief Bavino into a Target.
You're if your wife is not probably her too. You have to all you can't get to me. You can't get me. Get the out of here. Get the out. Nobody wants you here. Right. Get the out. Walk the out, you stupid. If you didn't have a gun or a badge, I would beat the out of you.
It wasn't just ICE agents getting attacked. Conservative journalists got mobbed.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
CNN got spared, though.
It goes at least 2 or 3 blocks.
Who are you? Who do you work
thank
for?
you.
Who do
Hold
you
on.
work
I'm
for?
sorry. We're with CNN. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you for your help. I'm sorry. I think people are getting upset.
Where were the cops? Minneapolis Mayor Smallfry told police to stand down. Is Minneapolis PD surrendering to these people? Did they just run away from a bunch of women with whistles? This is a bad sign. The Democrat base said they wanted to see blood, and they got it. And now they're turning Minneapolis into a battlefield, and the police are retreating. Red-headed potheads are ready for war.
I would rather be at home smoking weed. Yes. Yes. But why can't you be smoking weed right now?
Because God Nazis.
God Nazis. Yes. And how long do you plan to be out here?
Oh, we're actually headed back to the car.
Minnesota's not so nice to ICE. Grannies are outside begging for bullets to the face. Oh my God. These are suicidal missionaries. Moms are bringing babies to the front lines and using them as little human shields.
I love my community, I love my city, and I hate what's happening to it with people who frankly aren't from here coming in and telling us who should be here. And when it comes down to loving my neighbor, I'm just gonna love my neighbor.
If a woman brings her baby to a dangerous ICE protest, should we call child services? What kind of mom brings an infant to a violent rally to keep illegal alien child molesters in the neighborhood? not a good one. Let's check in to see how our favorite lesbian grandmother's doing.
So if the ICE agent who shot the woman and killed her in Minneapolis isn't
Lesbian
responsible
grandma?
for what he did,
How does that even happen? A lesbian grandmother? Amazing things are happening. I'm telling you, man.
because another person ran over them 6 months ago, then just out of curiosity, I mean, for example, I was raped in the 80s. If I go to the gynecologist and he triggers me in some way, I just get to whip out a knife and cut off his.
Some of these women are learning the lesson the hard way.
Their big gun telling me to get out of here. And I did. And I think I'm more angry and frustrated by this than I am scared. I'm pissed that I have to back down because you have a gun and that you will kill me and that you will kill anybody that stands in your fascist way.
Telling you, man, this is one big sexual fantasy playing out. Psychosexual drama.
Good's death was a tragedy, but it was preventable. Democrats created the conditions for her death. And instead of telling women to stand down and not put their bodies on the line, Good and all of her Ice Stalker cavalry are being hailed as heroes. And they're lying about her death to absolve her of any responsibility.
My goodness, she's like doing a 3 or a 4 or 5 point turn. This looks like somebody that's trying to get out of there. If doing a 3 point turn or a 4 point turn is a domestic terrorist, and my wife is a criminal every single day.
We don't need to listen to a mayor who let his city burn and calls Ice Stalkers heroes.
Did he really just say how shitty a driver his wife is? Run that back. How shitty a driver is his wife?
Somebody that's trying to get out of there. If doing a 3 point turn or a 4 point turn is a domestic terrorist, and my wife is a criminal every single day.
Your wife is either a criminal, a terrorist, or a shitty driver. You pick one. It's up to you.
We don't need to listen to a mayor who let his city burn and calls Ice Stalkers heroes. Just like they lied about Floyd, they're lying about Good. Either way, Ilhan Omar wants people to pay.
We are going to make sure that these people pay for what they have done to us. We are going to use every single lesson we are learning today to make sure no community gets terrorized like we are being terrorized by Trump and his Goonies ever again.
Omar doesn't want the Somalis to pay for stealing billions in welfare. She wants agents catching them to pay. See what we're dealing with here? It's kind of difficult to work with people who don't share anything in common. You don't even share the same basic values. We can't even agree on right and wrong. How do you fight crime and enforce the law when they don't even agree with the law? We're enforcing immigration law, and Omar, as we all know, doesn't respect immigration law, if you know what I mean. This little Minneapolis caliphate is surrendering the streets just like they did in 2020. And the mob has them by the huevos.
Walls, grow some balls! Walls, grow some balls! So to Jacob Fry, we say you! You are not doing enough! Words are not enough! We need action now!
All right, tails wagging the dog. Walls, Fry, Omar, they're getting ordered around by Ice Stalkers and vigilantes who want an eye for an eye. And the politicians are willing to let them die. Tampon's AG, Keith Ellison, kind of just declared a civil war.
The deployment of thousands of armed mass DHS agents to Minnesota has done our state serious harm. This is, in essence, a federal invasion of the Twin Cities and Minnesota, and it must stop.
Minnesota is finally admitting there's an invasion, not by illegals, by the government rounding them up. America is being invaded by America.
Didn't I just say
Biden
that?
let 10.
How can America invade America?
I'm confused, man. Amazing things are going on today. This whole year is going to be amazing. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of things that you never thought possible happen in 2026. Watch. Good and bad.
Million illegals in. Minnesota didn't sue, but now they're suing Trump for kicking them out. Here's who ICE just caught last week. A Laotian illegal convicted of strong-armed sodomy on a little boy and girl. Another Laotian illegal convicted of child rape and strangulation. A Somali illegal convicted of homicide. A Mexican national convicted of homicide. I mean, we could go on and on. These criminals were just roaming around Minneapolis because Minnesota lets them. It's a sanctuary. ICE picked up hundreds of bad hombres like that. These are the people who Mrs. Good and other ICE stalkers are putting their lives on the line for. These are who Democrats are suing Trump to keep in the country. They're driving across state lines to protect rapists and murderers.
I'm out here right now because this business put out a call for people to stand on this corner to watch the business for them. They've been really worried about reopening. They were shut down for the past 5 days after ICE was here, and they just aren't comfortable just doing this on their own.
Criminal illegal aliens are safer in Minneapolis than ICE agents. There have been over 20 assaults on federal officers in just 3 days in Minnesota. That's like a January 6th for 3 straight days. And Democrats in the media aren't saying stop. They're into it.
I'm wondering if you're not doing a disservice to the officer by reaching a conclusion before the investigation takes place.
I haven't heard you say once what a disservice it's done for Mayor Fry to get up and to tell ICE to get the F out of his city, and AOC to stand up before she had any of the facts and call this officer a murderer. For individuals, well, call them out, Jake.
In Portland, agents got rammed by the Tren de Agua, Bonnie and Clyde in a Hyundai. And the police chief there is crying. Not for the guys in uniform, for the immigrants.
I want to speak for just a moment specifically to my Latino community. It saddens me that we even have to qualify these remarks.
He really cried over illegal gangbangers.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
Can you believe a police chief's crying? No wonder Portland's a mess. Women walk all over this guy. Trantifa, Tren de Agua. The police chief is sobbing in public. Remember how Antifa attacked ICE headquarters for 3 straight months right under that same chief's nose, while the media said there's no such thing as Antifa? Well, now there is. Look at this headline in The Nation. Liberals think Antifa isn't real, but it is. And it knows how to win. To protect us all from the violence of the Trump administration, we must defend Antifa. So they're choosing sides. They're with Antifa, MS-13, and Somali fraudsters. And they finally found something they want to doge. Homan.
The actions of ICE, they are unconstitutional, unlawful. They are cruel. They are rogue. They are racist. And they are terrorizing communities. This harm does not discriminate. It is coming for everyone. And that is exactly why ICE must be stopped.
The ladies are lining up.
See, abolish ICE now, when that was a lefty thing before. Everyone's saying abolish ICE. You should never say that. You should never say that. I think people, red states, blue states, these are the United States of America, and people don't want to see murder in the killing in the street.
All right, you see what's going on here? The resistance is being run by women and men who cry. Walls, Fry, the chief, all criers.
That is the most accurate thing I've ever heard on the news in like the last 5 years. The resistance is being run by women and men who cry.
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please. Like,
that's the entire Democrat Party when you think about it. It's women and men who cry. All right, well, it's women, it's men who cry, and of course,
these blacks.
That's the Democrat Party. It's a trifecta. It's a perfect trifecta. It is the holy trinity of Democrat politics. Women, men who cry, and the blacks.
Then ICE moms, the Squad, and the View, tip of the spear. They want a civil war, maybe because they have daddy issues. Trump, not caving.
They were harassing them, were following for days and for hours. And I think, frankly, they're professional agitators. And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out who's paying for it, with their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff.
Democrats are sacrificing their own women for political power, while Trump's just enforcing the laws that Congress passed. Democrats are siding with cartels, dictators, terrorists, fraudsters, thieves.
Sacrificing your own women sounds like a crazy move when you say it out loud. Like, damn, I don't even think I'm going to go that hard. Sacrificing your own women? Like, damn. You don't have another job for them?
And now they're goading Trump to treat them like the enemy because they've sided with the enemy. So they can say, see, I told you he's a tyrant. I'm being oppressed. These people set a trap for a talking point. But it's now 2026 and no one cares.
Protests and vigils around the country this weekend over the ICE agent who shot and killed Renee Nicole Good. New footage from the agent's cell phone camera was released that has a different vantage point of the events. Take a look.
Get out of the mall.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem went on CNN to defend the agent's actions and double down on claims that Good was the aggressor. Watch.
Why did you not wait for an investigation before making your comments?
Oh, well, everything that I've said has been proven to be factual.
You said that she was a domestic terrorist. How do you define domestic terrorist?
She weaponized her vehicle to conduct an act of violence against a law enforcement officer and the public.
How
So
can
as
you
they are doing that,
How can you assert with certainty that she was trying to hurt the officer as opposed to she was trying to flee the scene?
if you look at what the definition of domestic terrorism is, it completely fits the situation on the ground.
What is the appropriate response for the police officers in this situation?
Every single situation is going to rely on the situation those officers are on.
President Trump pardoned every single one of those people.
And every single one of these investigations comes in the full context of the situation on the ground.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Was a word salad. That's
Okay,
right.
okay. It's just so interesting to me. You know, how can, I don't know, there are a zillion perspectives of this.
Yeah.
And it's like that old joke, you know, a woman comes home, walks into her bedroom, hears noises happening, walks in, there's her husband having sex with somebody else. And she goes, oh my, what are you doing? I can't believe you're doing this. And he said, what are you talking about? Look at what you're doing. You're having sex with this woman. And he says, who are you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes?
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
You know what you saw.
Yeah.
You know what you saw. Now you can keep saying she was aggressively running people up. She wasn't. We know what we saw. So how can people, it's a dumb question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Watch the same footage.
She literally hit him with the car, though. And then honestly, there's another lie I noticed. If you actually go back and watch that video, her wheel was turned into the officer, right? It's not like she was turning away from him. She was turning in towards him. She literally hit him with the car.
And see things so differently.
Well, I feel like we're losing our collective humanity because what I keep going back to is I've talked about on this show, members of my family have had interactions over the years with law enforcement. I've had people I love who've served time in jail, who've turned their lives around. And I keep thinking, thank God when they were in those situations, they dealt with law enforcement who looked to de-escalate, who looked to take the tone down and the temperature down and deal with the law enforcement aspect of whatever was happening. And in this instance, my outstanding question is, if the claim is that she was defying law enforcement, were charges going to be filed against her, and for what? If she'd not been shot 3 times and then her vehicle rammed into something as she crashed?
No, she was actually not doing anything wrong until she got herself killed. That was literally the problem. She did something that was worth killing over, and then she died.
So we looked up, what are the punishments for evading law enforcement or even fleeing police in a motor vehicle?
De-escalated.
These are serious crimes, but I want to be abundantly clear. The response is not death. It is not being shot 3 times in the face with your dog and your partner next to you. Federal law says that interfering with a federal law officer is a serious crime. Penalties range from a few
She
years
was
in jail
mostly
or up to 20
peaceful.
years. But you get your day in court.
That's right. She was mostly peaceful, right? And then she wasn't. That's literally what happened. She was mostly peaceful, and then she wasn't.
And you get to live. In Minnesota, fleeing police in a motor vehicle is a felony. The base
about 5
felony,
years.
yeah, about 3 years is the baseline. So I would just ask people, remember, this is a human being. We may learn more facts, but this is a human who is no longer here today because a situation that didn't need to escalate did, and the most extreme use of force was used rather than de-escalating.
And protocol wasn't followed. So the law enforcement are not supposed
Maybe people need to learn messing around with the police is dangerous, okay? 50-50 chance somebody gets hurt. You might get shot. You might get beat up. You might get run over. You never know. Messing around with the police is dangerous. You shouldn't just do it like it's all cool.
to step in front of a vehicle because it instantly becomes a threat of death, and therefore unlikely shootings are apt to happen, which happened here, and a woman lost her life. But he was also holding a phone up while he was holding his weapon. These are all things that they shouldn't be doing, but it is a
Having a bunch of women talking about how a man defends himself personally offends me. The fact that he had his phone up and his gun up and he got off the most miraculous shot in the history of gunfire, that's some gangster shit. And I don't like these bitches talking about him like that shit wasn't dope.
reminder as this is happening in our country that we have to have peaceful protest, because I think anytime you have someone that is obstructing or cutting people off, she does not deserve to be dead, but that is also creating this situation of a tinderbox. And this is why we're seeing more shootings right now, is these legal watchers step back, record everything, get it all down. But the fact that she was cutting off the road also contributed to the heat of this situation. We've got to remain peaceful. You can leave no room for error on this.
I just want to say, I don't know why she was, from my understanding, she had just dropped her kid off.
Well,
and was
the
trying
videos have
to
now
get...
revealed that her partner and her were coming to watch these or slow up the ICE. They want to notify the public the ICE officers are coming. So she meant to park that
and there
way.
were cars. There were cars that were
lots of
going
cars,
around around her car. But I think what you heard from Kristi Noem, frankly, and why she looked so clownish saying it is because it's ultimate hypocrisy. When thousands of insurrectionists show up on January 6th and...
Oh, shut up. You was happy when we got Maduro. When it's your team, you're happy about how everything went down. I bet you don't even know how many Venezuelans we killed to get Maduro. Shut up.
And beat up cops and want to impede the legal transfer of power. They are patriots and they are pardoned by this precedent. When this woman shows up unarmed, and is driving away, she deserves to be shot 3 times in the face. I mean, it is just hypocrisy to an inexplicable level. And I'll tell you what gave me great inspiration and gave me great hope this weekend was seeing the thousands and thousands and thousands of Americans who, despite freezing weather, despite all of these acts of intimidation, despite the threats of sending more agents into the streets of our cities, came out and protested peacefully.
Yeah, peacefully. I'm going to show you guys what gives me great hope. And shout out to Little Rock with that $1.99 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
I need that money.
But I'm going to show you guys something. This is what gives me great hope. This is something I found just before we went live today. Just as our country needs him, just when things look their most chaotic, when it looks like the defenders of America are on the ropes and outnumbered, a hero emerges. A new fighter emerges. The one-punch MAGA man. The one-punch MAGA man is here to defend America for all of us, y'all.
Hey, guys.
As you can see, the one-punch MAGA man, alone, outnumbered, with no one coming to his rescue. He needs no rescue. All he really needed was one punch. That's it. All he needs is one punch.
Hey, guys.
I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate you for watching the show. Hit that like button on your way out. Shout out to One Punch MAGA Man, making America great again, one punch at a time. Let that be a lesson to everybody out there. It's really that easy. It really is. It's really that easy. Any one of you could be One Punch MAGA Man. You never know. You just might have to be.
Fuck you. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.